Alrighty. I'm just eating lollies. Ooh. Soft chews that start fairly hard. Yeah. I've recently vacated the house that I look after during the winter and come back to my place, and I've been having showers here for the last couple of days. But that's about it. The last 2 or 3 days I've been having showers here. Last night, bingo. Bloody hot water system pump failed, so anyway, it sort of stuffed up once before and I managed to get it going again. What I'd done though when it stuffed up before was I went and bought another one. And I'm not too sure, I've got to get my box cutters, but not too sure if the hose is included or not. I think I might need to use the same hose. At other times that pump has started straining, running under load, and it's got a little filter, and the filter gets like algae and shit in it. So I've just cleaned the filter out, but this time will not even turn on. So I think she might have just about run its lifespan, as it almost did run its lifespan 5 years ago. Look at all the blossoms. Most of them have come off the almond trees, but they're really starting to fire up on the plum trees. Big time. So anyway, I found the box where I got this thing. I cover over most of me friggin', there's my phone number and everything on here. Rightio. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. 16th of July 2013. And same again, written by one of the staff members because it was an order in part. Yeah. So anyway, I'll cut that box open. Hopefully there isn't a frickin' some other bullshit in there. I didn't realise, but I hadn't even opened the damn box. So yeah. But you get little pumps, and they're 6-volt pumps, because it's an old style green Coleman hot water on demand. Look, honestly, they have quite a few issues. They are not the best designed or built things. But you know, I've managed to hack this thing and keep it all held together. Honestly, I actually turn it on and off by turning the battery on and off, because it's now got an external battery. The knob in the front all collapsed. So I had to piss around with a bit of pipe, a screw, a washer, and an old piece of cut-out CD, or like, you know, compact disc that I cut to even get the damn thing to go on when the battery, you know, is connected to it. But now it's basically just a switch for the battery. The battery, I thought, had died nearly 9 months, a year ago, and it still seems to keep going on. I think she's a bit soggy on it. It's like a 22 amp hour sealed lead acid 6-volt battery. It's a fairly decent size. I used to have a couple others sitting here, but I think I've stuck them out with my other old car batteries for the day that I take the batteries to scrap metal. I've just got some chicken boiling away in the background. I've got to do something else and just wait for the sun to align a little bit to check something else out on a particular solar rig that I just want to check if voltages are going how I think they are before I run the cold water pump that I use sometimes in the summer, that's based out of the same container that's full of water, because it's basically a giant heavy duty document tub that I use as a tank for the Coleman hot water on demand it's basically level with it. It sits on a big stand in there. Some of you have seen it. If you're a more recent subscriber, you probably haven't, but yeah, maybe I should be showing you. Let's see if I can get a lantern here, or a torch or some other damn thing. There we go. Got myself another one of these headset things, but the little jigger that changes your adjustment here is all shit. Because the dumb bastards have got like a, oh, it's like the fill-in point for the plastic pellets right on the top of it, so it just sort of either sits down or flops halfway up, but you can never get it to go straight ahead. It also has a flashing mode. Aside from that, it's much the same as the other one. But I've still got them, still using, but there's a few LEDs on that are a little bit dodgy. But anyway, there's part of the stand. She goes right up. Turn it. Oh, that light doesn't make a damn difference. It's a compact fluoro I usually use in here. I've got another one above that. That little one up there. Little white thing. That's an LED light. That's direct 12 volt. But anyway, here's me stand. And inside past this bit of wood you can see there with an upside down number 2 on, there's actually concrete poured in there. And this tub, document tub you can see, complete with the original sticker on it, is basically bedded in the same way that you would bed in a bathtub. So the base of it's secure. You really need a very heavy duty one. This is polyethylene, not polypropylene. And you can probably see under there, there's a screw. Oh. Yeah, I didn't really want to show it too well. You saw it better back here. There you go. That's a screw. Now basically you've got a lid that curves over the top there. Doesn't sit on, it actually curves over about 3/4 of an inch. And then I've screwed all those into the top. And there's me overflow line there, which actually goes out to the mint. That's one of those fancy pants connectors they use sometimes. That's, there you go. And that's one of those things they use to make an IBC into a water tank. It's basically 2 giant flanged nuts. It's like almost like a nut but a washer on a piece of pipe with all thread on it with rubber seals on either side. You can go and buy these things. Most people don't even know about them. But certain specialised plumbing places have that sort of stuff. There's a place I go to that specialises in agricultural plumbing, and they have them. Multiple different sizes. But that goes on a little elbow there and just basically goes right out through the hole in the wall there and waters me mint when it overflows. So the water isn't just blasting on the ground, it's actually water in that chocolate mint I've got in the IBC, or the half IBC out there. But yeah, this is all fed in from other lines that are one there. Now that comes from the overhead water tank. Underneath this basin there, there's a ball valve that turns on. That's T-pieced into the tap here, by the way. But yeah, T-piece continues down to that white and red tap you see there, and that fills into that container there. It's sort of like, I don't know if I've zip tied it or something into the top of that lid. But anyway, I've got to basically get a ladder inside this room and get up there and start doing stuff. And it can be a bit of an acrobatic situation at times. That's the knob on this mongrel that it all blimmin' collapsed. There should be a knob on that. There's a lot of, I don't know if I used a bit, I think the CD's deeper inside, isn't it? Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, that's it there in the back, and a bit of black pipe and a washer, and the original screw that holds the knob in. Because there's a little piece that's got to be held in there to keep it from, like, that basically turns it on. But then how I turn it on is this here. Now, they're little, what is it? Double throw, single pole, I can't damn remember. But you got like a down, an up, and a midway point. So they've got like basically 3 tabs on the back of them. And you know, when they're down, the middle and the bottom tab are connected. When they're up, the middle and the upper tab are connected. And when they sit in the middle, which they will sit in the middle, then neither of them are connected. So you probably can't really see me little writing there, but I've got them down at the moment, which charges the battery, which is what I've got doing. And if I flick both of them up, then the power runs through to this. So this is permanently on through the broken knob there, but the power that the leads that come from the internal battery of this, which by the way is a heap of shit that never runs very well from new, I've soldered wires onto those leads that come from the internal battery of this onto the back of these switches. So basically you are coming from that battery there, which I think is about a 22 or a 26 amp hour, can't really remember, 6 volt sealed lead acid battery, and it comes from that into this one, through the switch into this. And now currently I've got it on charge. I'll show you what happens when I go to turn it on. You'll hear it ignite, but it won't do anything else. And flame goes and then flame stops because the water flow sensor is saying there's no water coming through. So in behind these zip ties, I don't know, you should be able to, there we go. She's charged it anyway. That's basically a little black 6 volt battery charger, mains to 6 volt charger. And it's just telling me with that green light that it is indeed a fully charged battery, so I'll just set them into the middle again. But yeah, water pump's dead as a doornail. So yeah, the battery they give you for these is only like the early ones is 4 amp hour, and then later on they had a 4.5 amp hour battery, and they're frickin' junk. And you can sit there hearing the pump sort of so it sort of fires up, and then it slowly winds down and down and down, and then you hear, oh, it speeds up again, and then slowly winds down. Oh, speeds up again. It's just bullshit. The little Chinese made, and they are Chinese made because I used to have a few of them laying around. This is my second one of these systems. I've still got the original one, hiding away, stored here somewhere. That's got other issues. The batteries that come in and were made in China, and they literally did not have enough current to run the 6 volt water pump that sits in there. They just didn't have enough current. And they're so small and so tacky that then you get to thinking that it's actually a bad pump, because you hear the pump going up and down, up and down, up and down. And if you're not really knowledgeable with electrical stuff, you first assume that you've got a shit pump that won't keep up to speed. But then once you hook on a big one, like I have with the 22 or 26 or whatever it is, which is usually the ones I've gone for. I think originally I might have had an 18 amp hour, but I ended up getting the 22 and later point 26. It might be back to 22 again. Amp hour 6 volt battery. When you get those big batteries and you wire them to the leads that hook to the internal battery, because they get a little bit of length, not much, but a little bit of extra length, you know, so you can actually change a battery in them. You wire another, you know, 6 inches worth of lead so you can get to a larger battery, 22, 26 amp hour, whatever, and you run it off that bigger battery. For the first time, the pump will actually stay a consistent speed and keep pumping consistently. And it's at that point that you learn that the pump was never a problem, but their shitty little 4 amp hour or 4.5 amp hour battery just would not provide enough current to run the pump. It's a design flaw. And there's quite a number of different little design flaws that are really stupid basic things. And just really, a lot of the design flaws are based around trying to cheapskate on that thing. I got those back when they were $275 on discount, and they were selling for $295. And you know, a year later or so, they're selling for $400. They no longer make them. Oh, yeah. Had a bit of a cold the last few days, but I think my neck's getting a bit dry. Anyway, they now got another one that's a digital one. Digital temperature control. It's more a square box type one. I don't even know if they haven't upgraded that. There might be a version 2 of that thing. I think there might be yet another one that's like a newer model, slightly different. But the thing that's a pain in the arse with those is, the biggest pain in the arse is if you actually use their proper charger, because you can never tell if it's charged. Because the LED they got, it's a multicolour LED, you can't tell the difference between the watered down yellow green and the very yellowed orange. That's the difference between fully charged and still charging. It's the worst design you could possibly imagine for trying to work out if indeed it's saying it's charged or not. For the charge lights that are on the front of it, it's got another yellow light to say that the battery's low, and sometimes when I try that on a frosty morning without having used it for quite a long time, it might actually come up with the little yellow light telling me the battery isn't giving enough oomph. But it's only happened once or twice in the 7 years that I've been here. So yeah, but anyway, that's just a little rundown on the older systems out there. Look, there's design flaws in the way they've done the clip that attaches to them. Everything's sort of a 6-volt base. They are drowned in sensors and electronics inside. I mean, fucking drowned in them. Having said that, the heating unit itself is quite a good one, but it's just there's so much electronics that gets in the way you're running it, because they've had to conform with, you know, Canada, USA, Australia, Europe, blah, 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 all the places they saw that they had to conform with so much stuff that there's, you know, anti-scalding blooming things in there, and you know, flow sensors to make sure it's not a fire risk, which is currently working for this. But in essence, they'd be a good machine if you got one, stripped all the fucking electronics out of it, and just ran it as a basic heating unit. They'd be quite alright. But there's ways and means, you know, to deal with these electronics and work with them, you know, and even after you have the front knob collapse and whatnot. And I could probably be more of an expert with these things, but who wants to play with hot water systems all day? I'm just trying to keep this thing going. And if this all fails, you know, I'm going and getting a whole nother system, most likely a completely different brand, similar to what my brother-in-law has, which is one that runs off like a 12-volt pump, that, you know, is a damn good system, and he's put that in the house that they're permanently living in. I mean, it's actually in a shed now with, you know, with, well, an actual mains pressure unit, but they're designed to run off a 12-volt pump. That's his system. That's like an $800,000 type permanent, almost portable, almost semi-permanent style system. I think it might be called the Black Diamond. I forget what they they call it, there's a couple of different names, but it's a hell of a lot better system, and this bastard fails, I'm probably getting one of them. But anyway, that's, yeah, I've got things to do, and so there you go.